Hello, ladies and gentlemen. And today we have more college bullshit. Well, I would say that this college type of BS is a little interesting because it does have a story prior to all this. And now we're finally rounding it up all in one big bow today. And this will be my present to you guys. Well, yeah, my present to you guys. Mostly just because it's a great thing, honestly. Mostly the company or the college may go out of business. Let's read. Woke Oberlin College is hit with $4 million in interest charges for dragging its heels and paying $36 million defamation damages to family-run bakery over false racism claims. Oh, well that ain't good. But guys, I always thought that the woke people are the least racist people in existence. Yeah, I don't know about that one. It seems like they're going to be the most racist. I mean, Eric D. July is getting racism for having a massive success, and they're just calling him all sorts of racist names. But yeah, they're the non-racist ones. Oberlin College has been hit with $4 million in interest fees for refusing to pay the $36 million it owes to a family-run bakery. Gibson's Bakery in Oberlin, Ohio is struggling to survive. Oberlin College students and faculty member Meredith Raimondo accuses staff of racism. Despite the allegations being proven false, students continue to boycott. The 137-year-old bakery continues to struggle financially because of the incident. Owner Alan Gibson and his son David Gibson have since passed, while the family awaits a $30 million settlement from the Oberlin College. A woke Ohio college now faces okay, we're not going to read that one. Oberlin College was last month told it must pay the additional fee, equivalent to around $4,000 a day to each of the 1,000 days it has refused to pony up to Gibson's Bakery, the Chronicle reported. Oberlin College, alleged by one of its disgraced ex-deans, Meredith Raimondo, lied that the bakery staff had racially profiled their black students in 2016, despite the trio later admitting shoplifting. That sparked a boycott and protest led by a bullhorn wave Raimondo that almost destroyed Gibson's, who successfully won a defamation payout in 2019. So this was over 2 years ago. But Berlin has refused to pay up and asked for another stay in paying the Gibsons what they're owed because of a pending appeal against the ruling against them. That appeal is set to be heard by the Ohio Supreme Court after two lower courts rejected Oberlin's attempts to slow the out of paying the Gibsons, which is not going to bypass, by the way. You're probably going to be hit with a bigger payout anyways, which I'm all for. I want this company, or rather this school, to go completely out of business. Lawyers of the Gibson family say Oberlin failed to file the correct paperwork to justify their latest delaying tactic and must pay up. The legal stalemate continues for now. The Gibson family, who owns the 137-year-old bakery, won damages after a jury found they suffered horrific stress as a result of Oberlin's lies and involvement in the boycotting of the business. Gibson's Bakery was quiet during a visit. Okay, so family members were too upset to discuss the ordeal that at hands of Oberlin, but their lawyer said it had cost them the business and forced them to lay off staff. This troll doll here, this garbage human being, which shows that she looks like she's a damn lunatic, it was the cause of all this. The bakery in Oberlin, Ohio, has struggled to survive and had to slash half its staff earlier this year after the 2016 incident that saw Oberlin college students and senior staff members brand the family business racist. They did so after the Gibsons called the cops on 3 black shoplifters who stole wine and attacked a staff member and who were later convicted. Oh. Well, what's wrong, Meredith? Well, why did you have to go and do that? Why'd you clone label it racist? They did so after the Gibsons called the cops on the 3 black shoplifters who stole wine and were later convicted. Court ordered Oberlin College and its former dean of students, Meredith Raimondo, to pay out $44 million for defamation in 2019. It was later reduced to $33 million, which the college has refused to pay, and it's being hit with a little over $4 million in interest fees. So they're most likely going to end up paying $37 million just to the entrance fees. But at the same time, when it does go to the Ohio Supreme Court, they'll most likely probably be hit with even bigger fees. So that's a problem. And I'm also going to assume that the so-called person that did this is most likely, the college is most likely going to have to, they'll probably be arrested and be forced to pay. Well, that's what my assumption is. All in due time. Justice will prevail, it's just taking forever. The judgment now stands at more than $36 million, which includes the $31.6 million plus interest, or about $4,300 daily over the 1,064 days since the Chronicle reported. In a court filing on Wednesday, Oberlin College asked the Ohio Supreme Court to issue an order halting payment for the $36 million, while the college appeals rulings by two lower courts. Both the college and the bakery have appealed in the Supreme Court, but a court date to hear appeals has not been set. It's because they didn't get success in the first court, so they're like, okay, so the next court we're going to go to. So if you can't find success in the lower courts, then you're definitely not going to find success in the higher courts. Alright? You went to two different courts and lost spectacularly. In a court filing on May 27th, attorneys for the bakery asked the court to order the college to pay the judgment, saying the college failed to file a necessary motion with the 9th District Court of Appeals to halt the process. Oberlin College got an appeal bond through Zurich American Insurance Co., the Chronicle reported. This ensures the judgment can be paid if their appeals are unsuccessful. After the appeal was decided and the college took the case to the Ohio Supreme Court, the Gibsons reversed course, filing a motion with the trial court not against Oberlin but against Zurich to collect under the Zurich bond to try to moot this appeal, Oberlin's lawyers wrote. Oberlin wrote in the filing that it asks this court to issue a confirmatory stay to stop the Gibsons' efforts to collect on bonds issued by Zurich. Even if neither the trial court stay nor the terms of the bond contemplated that the stay would remain in effect, pending the exhaustion of all the defendants, the appeals to the appellate court would have the authority to extend the stay and continue the term of the bond to encompass Berman's pending appeal. Oberlin has arrogantly declared that it still won't pay out after a losing state court appeal in April. Back in April, correction. It also refused to apologize despite multiple college staff and numerous resources being deployed for the protests and boycotts. Meanwhile, Raimondo has landed on her feet with a cozy new college job in Georgia despite her appalling behavior. The saga inflicted by the college has dragged on for so long that two senior members of the Gibson family had died with the sting on their reputation while waiting for the cash they were legally entitled to. Alan Gibson, a singer who marched with Luther King, died in February this year, aged 93. And one of his sons, David, died of pancreatic cancer in November 2019, aged 65. He revealed he agreed to avoid mentioning the disease during the definition trial for fear of influencing the jury. But he released a message before his death saying he believed Oberlin bosses were trying to wait the family out before paying in hopes that his death would take the heat off them. The family's attorney Lee Plackett said an official boycott among Oberlin staff and students remains in place, with the bakery quiet when DailyMail.com visited Tuesday morning. Plackett explained that when Gibson hits the news, such as DailyMail.com report published yesterday, which has followed up by Fox News, orders usually roll in. But former Oberlin Dean of Students and Vice President Meredith Raimondo has faced no such heartache. She was allowed to leave her job in 2021, despite leading the charge against Gibson, even protesting outside the shop with a bullhorn and leaflets accusing it of racial profiling. Raimondo, who also threatened to unleash a woke mob on a professor who criticized the protest, is now free to wreak havoc at Othero Liberal Arts College in Atlanta. She took up a position there as Vice President of Student Affairs and has not responded to Daily Mail requests for comment on her bullying behavior. That's because these far leftists are actual lunatics. They're technically the most evil people imaginable, and they need to be removed from society, jailed, and probably never see the light of day again. Attorney Lee Plackett, who represents the Gibsons, told DailyMail.com in April that the college faces accusations to hurt the family today. Business has suffered and the family is doing everything they possibly can to continue the bakery's tradition. He said, nothing how the bakery was forced to cut back its staff, going from nearly a dozen workers to 3 or 4 total employees. Plunkett said the Gibsons were forced to downsize operations because business has significantly slowed and that they're just trying to hold on to until the justice system forces the college to pay the damages they caused. The Gibsons are understandably concerned, the attorney explained. They are very disappointed that the college to this day, even with this record and mountain of evidence that they were wrong, is acting this way. Oberlin can take the case to the Ohio Supreme Court and U.S. Supreme Court. Legal analysts say the famous Will College may be deploying cutthroat legal tactics in a bid to force the Gibsons to settle for less, in return for avoiding the stress of further legal tussles. No, go for the throat and remove this college from existence. Have them go belly under and have them not be a college anymore. After the allegations of racial profiling surfaced, Oberlin College terminated its contract with Gibson's, which had been a long-time provider to the school's dining hall facility, despite the fact that the bakery never received any complaints about its product prices or professionalism. The college feared its students' body would have food tantrums if they continued to serve Gibson's products, so it ceased using the bakery as a food service provider, products alleged. The college became the appeasers rather than the moderators, he said. The reason they canceled the long-standing food service order with Gibson was to appease the students because they feared the students would throw tantrums. Here's a college where tuition is approximately $70,000 a year, and I would expect if you send children to college and pay that tuition, you can reasonably expect there will be an adult in the room. The adult will be a moderating voice, but these adults were pouring gasoline on what should have been a spark, and it became an inferno. Exactly, and that's more the reason why this college should be heavily punished. The drama that severed the family's long-standing reputation in the Oberlin community also took a toll on the health of Alan and his son, David Gibson, 65, both of whom do die waiting for the college settlement. The impact on the family is equally dramatic, if not more so, Plunkett said. Alan, also known as Grandpa Gibson, had reportedly dedicated his life to being a good citizen and maintaining the upstanding legacy his ancestors created when they opened the bakery in 1985. Grandpa Gibson told his son, David, I've lived my life the right way and done all the right things, and I've helped people of all colors and ethnic backgrounds. At the end of my hard life, they're trying to brand me and my family as a racist, Doc is called, citing the 7th testimony gender trial against Oberlin College. That moment was a poignant moment in trial, and it was hard for David Gibson to get out of that testimony because he knew how much these false claims had impacted in her Grandpa Gibson, who had dedicated his life to doing the right thing. Grandpa marched to Martin Luther King for fairness and equality, so for the college to sacrifice the great Gibson to appease their students had a dramatic impact on his health. When you ruin someone's reputation, you can't go to the doctor, you have to live with it. David, who died in November 2019, was also committed to preserving the family's reputation despite his ongoing battle with pancreatic cancer. Defending their reputation and protecting the family legacy was so important to the family that, although David Gibson had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer during the trial and was receiving treatment, he was there every day at the trial when he was suffering. Although he was ill, David refused to make the jury aware of his condition, fearing that they may sympathize for him or his family, the attorney alleged. David said the whole purpose was a vindication of the family's long reputation, and he wanted any determination to be solely on the facts on the history. Bagas told Daily Matam he was concerned if the jury knew he was being treated for cancer that they would some way impact their verdict in his favor. He didn't want the verdict colored in any way. Bagas shared how David believed the facts would speak for themselves, and he wanted his family to be judged on their conduct in history and the community. The 65-year-old knew the college helped promulgate the false allegation they had a long history of racism and was confident that the evidence submitted to the jury would prove it. David's dying wish was that his wife, Lorna Gibson, continue to fight for their family's bakery and legacy. Lorna is working hard. She feels vulnerable and somewhat alone without David and Grandpa. Baga said of the owner of Gibson's bakery. David made her promise before he passed away that she would do everything she could humanly to keep the bakery going and not let the actions of Oberlin College and the long proud history of the bakery. The attorney said Lorna believes that working as much as humanly possible, she is fulfilling her promise to her late husband. These are the things that they have said. So, you pretty much get the picture. So, we all know that this college has not done well, and it's going to the Supreme Court, and maybe the U.S. Supreme Court, which, by the way, will be hit even harder. So, hopefully these guys get the justice that they deserve. I know I'm not done with the article, but it's a very long article, and this is a very long video, so I don't want to try to worry about the guys too much about the length. So I'll kind of cut it off here. But yeah, hopefully you guys get to see the people have been charged, and now they're facing some serious issues. Well, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.